benefits of a modern TMS for shippers. Well, joining us today to speak about that is JP Wiggins, Vice President and co-founder of 3G. JP, good to see you once again.
Good to see you again, Russ. Nice to meet you.
JP, let's just talk about shipper consolidation for just a moment. How is it, in your estimation, that one optimizes for that? What would you say?
You know, years ago we used to talk a lot about consolidation, trying to get your customers, your shipper, your manufacturer, both on the inbound and on the outbound side, trying to get your vendors to consolidate more freight or to get your customers to buy more freight that you can consolidate, because you'll see orders come in where you might have 2 orders on Monday, 2 orders on Wednesday, another order on Thursday. So, but consolidation projects, I think, are one of the next levels that really should come back for most shippers. Talk to your customers, get them to buy in truckload quantities, that's the easy one, but then also talk to them about, well, what if I deliver it to you early? So you have a shipment on Thursday and you have a shipment on Tuesday, well, can I deliver them both to you on Wednesday? And that's what a modern TMS can really help you with, because it can help you identify what types of hours of operations the customers are open, what type of freight do they handle, what is their normal order pattern, and to really get a consolidation program going, to really talk to your customers, talk to your vendors, and get them to really, consolidate freight. And that's where, that's really the next levels of cost saving happens, because if you could take partial shipments and turn it into LTL, or LTL and turn it into truck, maybe multi-stop truck or pool distribution or even full truckload, the benefits to everyone in the entire supply chain is just, it exponents, the more you're able to consolidate.
Terrific array of benefits that you just outlined there. I want to talk about something that really is top of mind right now throughout the transportation industry. That is sustainability. So
Yes.
More specifically, let's talk about reducing deadhead miles for trucks and the benefits of sustainability in that particular scenario. Walk us through that. What do you see there?
Yeah, I did some simple math using government study data from EPA data, US.government on miles traveled, and what is industry estimates are we're 20-25% of miles out there are deadhead miles. Using that simple math, that works out to be over $200 billion pounds of carbon in America alone per year based on deadhead miles. So deadhead miles, like consolidation, is something that can be optimized for. So usually if you're a shipper, why does deadhead happen? Well, because you put a truck onto an area and then there's no freight coming out of that area. Or you put a truck and the driver, because the driver only has his network, the carrier, for example, only has their network of freight. They don't see freight that's happening out there. So this is something that TMS can actually help with, because you can optimize so that your trucks don't end in these deadhead areas, that they optimize so that they either come home or they end in locations that you can get freight out of to help reduce carbon. And that's what we're talking, 200 billion pounds of carbon. Mm-hmm. Reducing deadhead miles is something that, there's something top of mind if you're looking to actually reduce carbon right there, and it's also cost considerations related to that. So,
certain shippers are going to find that their stakeholders are very, very conscious of carbon emissions and how much they want to reduce this sort of thing, how much they want to contribute to reducing these emissions, which would mean then they are going to be looking for trucking partners that are conscious of this need and are working to reduce carbon. I guess the question is, how many of those firms out there are actually doing that, are actually dedicated to reducing carbon right now?
Well, I see a lot of shippers that have these carbon programs. I think there's probably more carbon programs out there, carbon sustainability programs, than any other type of IT project that's going on right now. But I don't know if people really understand the significance of what and how to do it. They're looking at the simple things, but this is more of a complicated thing. This is a data interchange between you and your customers and your carriers and your vendors. So, and it's also can be optimization, but it's also massive impact. If you're able to take one shipment and combine it with a second shipment and it was going on the same truck, you've literally just cut your carbon impact by half.
Sure.
And I can see, if as a company, if I'm a shipper right now, I could think of no greater program that is going to have more impact on carbon reduction than a consolidation or deadhead or optimization program that you can get from a TMS.
All right, we're talking about making a TMS investment in my company, but clearly we are concerned about ROI. If I come to you and I have that question to you, what is the return on investment? Walk me through. What can I expect?
First off, it's carbon reduction. If you want to put it out there, moving something from a partial shipment, which is the most common and most expensive carbon, to LTL, which is next, to truckload, to move up. So you're going to have an ROI on carbon reduction if you have a carbon reduction issue. But cost savings, we're still seeing, on average, most companies that do implement a normal modern TMS, they are saving 8% to 10% of their freight, overall freight spent, or FUM, freight under management, is saved with a modern TMS. Adding on to that, though, is I would say people need to look differently now. A modern TMS is not this big, massive project that you put in that's going to take you 2 years to install. You still can do that, the big bangs, but people now have different pain points. So I would say look at what your pain point is and solve that specific pain point. And maybe it's this small. And maybe you put in a slice of a TMS to solve. Maybe you solve for carbon, or maybe you're solving for consolidation, or maybe you're solving just for rate reduction based on rate shopping. Solve a small part of your problem. Don't look at doing the big bang, because that's how modern TMS can be implemented, is implemented in little slices. And everybody's charging it by SaaS, by transaction. You're not paying unless you're actually using it. And if your ROI is there, you're going to pay your transaction. It's a zero risk kind of proposition, because you're not getting your ROI if you're not using it, and if you're not using it, you're not paying for it.
That's a perfect example of why I need to speak with you about implementation of this sort of technology, because you just explained to me that it may not be one of these deals where I have to eat the entire enchilada. Maybe I can do this, by slices or whatever. Final question, JP, for anybody that's not really all that familiar with 3G, let's walk through just what the company is all about, what your focus is, and more particularly, how is it that you are optimizing the operations of your client base? So what do you say?
Great, thanks. Well, we are a transportation management software company. We're not a service. We're not a 3PL. We actually sell to 3PLs. There's a lot of 3PL services out there that actually run me as their core ERP, their core backbone. But we sell to shippers directly too. So this is managing your parcel shipments. That's a big piece of our operations. Is if you're just doing parcel, you need those weight scale systems in the warehouse floor. Well, should it go FedEx today? Should it go DHL? Should it go Pure Later Courier, or any number of hundreds of other carriers? That's an optimization for parcel shipments and consolidation. We're also LTL freight. So if you're managing LTL or parcel, we're one of the best known systems for truckload optimization. So give us all your orders, figure out all the constraints, and we'll build the multi-stop truckloads, figure out which modes, which carriers. So we are a classic TMS from that sense. What I also say though is that as a modern SaaS-based TMS, you just get to choose what you need to implement. We have one piece of software that gets implemented, but then which we can usually install in a matter of 2 weeks to a month or two, and people are live with it, and then they grow on their own, and they roll out other divisions. So they don't need us, they don't need this big bang approach, and it's small and simple, and that's what a modern TMS, that's what people want. They want simplicity. They understand complexity will come, but the complexity comes over time they're able to, using your terms, eat the enchilada. It's a big enchilada to take over someone's freight when you're talking hundreds of millions of dollars of freight, but you start small, and that's what we pride ourselves, that we have very happy customers. Our customers have been with us long term. We're about a 10-year-old company in April. We're 10 years old, and almost our churn rate is almost zero. And that's what we have pride in that. Yes, once in a while a client does leave, but we're almost zero, and it's been a great run for 9 years. So
well, a full and comprehensive menu of services there. JP, thanks for meeting with us today. Great conversation. Thank you very much.
See ya.
It's JP Wiggins, 3G, speaking with us today about the benefits of modern TMS in your enterprise. Thanks for watching.